Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody and welcome, happy Friday, to the Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM radio network, because the news always matters. My name's Brian Engelman and you're listening to the Unhappy Hour. But, of course, the Cavs have pulled off the worst kept secret in all of basketball, officially trading for Kevin Love. We've been talking about this for a very long time on the program, and we've done a lot of good shows about a lot of different NBA topics, and we hope that you check them out in our archive. Just take a look, thenewamericanmedia.com, click on sports. NBA scout Zak Baris has joined us, and we've talked for hours and hours about relevant stuff, talking about LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love and really the NBA in general. So please go check that out. Also, make sure that you subscribe to youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. We'd appreciate that. All of our content's over there as well. And then on the bottom right of our homepage at thenewamericanmedia.com, it also has our Facebook and our Twitter feed. So like us and follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Special thanks to Elevated Tracks for more new music coming in. Bits and pieces. We always appreciate that. So let's do this. Let's bring Mr. Zak Baris into the program, and let's go over all the details of what just happened, what's going on with Team USA, any other stuff. You know, I also want to talk about Johnny Manziel a little bit. I know Zak is a Cleveland Browns season ticket holder. Not just Johnny Manziel. We got to talk about Josh Gordon. Really gets a 16-game suspension. Ray Rice. What is it? If you hit somebody on the field. Who was that on the Redskins, or somebody got fined? I don't know, got suspended or something for hitting somebody on the field. Who the heck was that? It wasn't Wes Welker. I'm confusing him with Wes Welker, which is why my brain is fried on this. But you get a fine for giving somebody a concussion. You know, you hit somebody on the field the wrong way, you get a fine. You hit somebody in an elevator and knock them out, and it's a girl. You get 2 games, but if you hit a joint, you get a full season suspension. It's really complicated, but I do want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns getting ready to start their season. We'll bring Zak into the program now. Also, the Indians are in the middle of a playoff hunt, by the way.
Hello?
Howdy, Zak. You're live on the air. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, stressed, man.
Yeah? Why? What's going on?
Moving apartments tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have a new swanky joint in an old warehouse or something, you said.
Kind of, yeah. So.
Okay. Well.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, congrats about that. So are you going to stay in Cleveland then, or are you going to be bouncing around?
I'm all over. The thing is, I'm all over the place. So it's all over the place. So I'll be in Cleveland, you know, part of the time, elsewhere a lot of the other time.
Yeah, because you have friends and family in Cleveland, so that's like a home base. So that's like an apartment or something you bought or something you're renting?
Yeah, no, it's something I'm leasing, but it's just,
okay.
just really looking forward to this move. So I just got back in town 2 days ago.
Oh.
And, you know.
Well, welcome back.
You know,
take a breath.
Yeah, I just got back from New York, so it's
okay.
kind of crazy.
Well, take a breath, you know, relax. This is the fun time where we get together and talk about sports. You know, and I'll tell you what, the Buckeyes are getting ready to kick off their season without Braxton Miller. The Browns getting ready to start their season without Josh Gordon. But still a lot of excitement with both of those teams. The Cleveland Indians are making a playoff push right now. And, of course, with all the worst-kept secret in basketball with Kevin Love coming through. I was surprised that trade exemption was included in that deal. Wasn't that the one that was a big bargaining chip that the Cavs had, and they let that go too? That's something I wanted to ask you about.
Which trade exception was it? I didn't even see which one it was.
Who? We made that trade.
They didn't trade Brendan Haywood, so Brendan Haywood's trade exception couldn't have been traded in that deal.
Oh, okay.
So there's no way.
So you can't keep the player and keep...
No, the trade exception was Cleveland took on more salary. So what happens is Minnesota basically had there's an extra $5 million left over, so that goes into a trade exception.
And how does that... Okay, I kind of understand that.
It's too hard to explain, but it's like when LeBron went to Miami, Cleveland got a $15 million trade exception from Miami.
And that means what to Cleveland in that situation?
It meant they were allowed to make a trade to go $15 million over the cap. At one point, it didn't. You basically allowed them an extra $15 million for that one calendar year.
Okay, so that's for 1 year and 1 year only. They can cash that in.
Yes, it expires after a year. It's done.
Oh, so if you sign somebody that's $15 million over, but they're on a 6-year contract, does that count, or does that hurt you in year?
Here's the thing: it just allows you to go over the cap without trying to maneuver anything difficult. You're still paying the luxury tax. That's the thing.
Okay. Oh, all right.
It just allows you to make up for that previous salary spent. That's all.
Okay.
That's all a trade exception is.
Well, because I bring that up because I think you mentioned that was a nice little piece that the Cavs could use with that really bizarre contract from Haywood. So I was...
No, that'll be next year.
Okay. Well, let's go over what the Love deal was. I mean, I guess it was absolutely no secret. Everything was leaked out. I mean, a week later now, I mean, I guess it's old news, but...
Well, I might see him tomorrow. He's living in my building, so...
Are you living in that starter jacket building, the one where they put up that big Kevin Love starter jacket?
Yes. No. I'm living at the one with the giant LeBron sign the day he came home over there. So.
I guess in Cleveland, everything's... where's the Kyrie building? Where's that one going to be?
I have no clue yet. Let's see where Nike or Pepsi puts it.
Nice. So I mean, I guess let's look back on it. What happens... how are we to evaluate this now? It is a done deal. Is there any other team that can do? Because this is what I wanted to ask you. Is there another team in the league that can build a super team? The big three, or is it only where LeBron goes, he can get 2 more super guys with him?
No, it's not true. I mean, Houston almost did it with Chris Bosh this summer. I mean, they were an inch away. It's basically 4th and goal on the 1.5 yard line. They got stopped. That was what happened. They would have wound up with Bosh, Harden, and Dwight Howard. And they would have had Chandler Parsons, but the whole thing broke down. They wound up losing Parsons, realizing he wasn't worth $14 million, but if they were exceeding the cap anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. So,
okay, so it's possible then. Man, yeah. It sounds like the movies are letting out behind you. No, so I guess. Are the Cavaliers the main team to beat at this point? Is it that cut and dry?
Like I said, it's still the Spurs because they won the title last year, and they don't. San Antonio is still San Antonio. I mean, that's the thing. They're still the Spurs.
To be the champ, you got to beat the champ, right?
Yeah, exactly. Despite how anyone split it, but do I think that really? I mean, I bet you they can knock off the Bulls in 5. Maybe even 6 at worst. I don't see that series going to 7, with or without a healthy Derrick Rose. Chicago's got a good big 3, but I mean Cleveland literally has 3 superstars in their big 3. And Cleveland has a very, very complete bench. That's another difference too.
Is Sean Marion official yet, or is that still just?
He hasn't signed, but don't worry, he's a Cavalier. The only reason it's just held out due to different purposes with the cap. He will be signing any day now.
But there is a reason why it's taken long?
No, it's the reason why Mike Miller and James Jones took a month. It just happens. It's due to cap issues.
Okay.
So he's a Cavalier, don't worry. He's been there every day working out. He's a Cavalier.
Oh, he's already with the team. I wasn't aware of that.
He's already with the team, yeah. He's with the team.
Oh, okay. That changes things.
He's just not under contract yet. He will be. And my guess is, too, is that they wind up with Ray Allen in probably the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, that was my next question about Ray Allen. Because I don't know if I'm even going to play. Just
my guess is by mid-September he makes his decision. And my guess is I can't see him going anywhere other than Cleveland, to tell you the truth.
Will his decision be as big as LeBron's?
No, but it would definitely be a nicely welcomed addition to the Cavaliers.
Oh, absolutely.
I still think they're going to be looking for a backup point guard. I don't know who's going to become available.
Didn't I hear something about Chauncey? Did he sign somewhere yet?
Chauncey Billups is 5 years past his being a decent player. He's not. It's Chauncey Billups at this stage. I would much rather have Dellavedova every night out there than Chauncey Billups, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I like Dellavedova. He's pretty good.
Chauncey hasn't been a serviceable. He wasn't a serviceable player last year. Let's put it that way.
All right, fair enough. So who else is out there for backup point guard?
I mean, I believe Ramon Sessions is still on the market. I don't see that one happening, though.
Wow, Sessions.
I believe he is. I mean,
He had
who
moments
knows
for the
what's going to
Cavs.
happen, but I mean, you can always use Philadelphia to facilitate a third team in any deal because they're so far under the cap.
It's interesting what Philly's doing.
It really is. They're banking. I mean, the thing is, they're taking a lot of risk by taking a guy like Nerlens Noel in last year's draft. You took a risk, but at the same point, there was nobody with anywhere near that potential, so it was worth that risk to take Nerlens Noel. They got a really good player in Michael Carter-Williams, a future superstar doubtful, but a future potential all-star, yes. And then this year is where you took your risk because there were safer guys. You had Julius Randle on the board right below him, who would have made an amazing team with Nerlens Noel, your two Kentucky guys. I think that would have been a great fit, but Embiid's potential, though, is off the charts. And like I said, if he comes back healthy, you've got the Twin Towers in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yep. Nerlens Noel. I'm looking forward to seeing this season. I really am. Watching a few of these new guys. Because, year two, but he's brand new. Are we hearing any reports of how he's healing up? Do we have any idea?
I haven't heard of anything about Embiid, how he's healing up, but Nerlens Noel should be fine.
Yeah, Nerlens is who I was talking about. I guess Embiid was too.
I think Nerlens will look good. I just don't know about Joel Embiid yet. I don't even know if he's going to play this season.
Yeah, my understanding is that he wasn't. He was going to do the Noel route, but I mean.
Well, that's what Philly would prefer. But the thing is, if Philly goes and gets Jahlil Okafor next year, they're trading one of those three guys, and I can tell you that right now. Because Jahlil Okafor is the consensus number one in next year's draft.
Consensus. So nobody will dispute that he's the number one pick.
I mean, it was the same thing with Andrew Wiggins. Going into the season, Wiggins was the consensus number one. Now, going into draft time, it was Embiid, then it was Jabari Parker, and it still wound up being Andrew Wiggins. Like I said all along, I always thought Wiggins would be the number one overall pick. It was too hard to see him not going number one overall due to his potential. But getting back to the Cleveland Kevin Love trade, I think Cleveland made out the winners in this trade, and I'll tell you why. They acquired a superstar in this deal. Andrew Wiggins, as good as he is no guarantee as a superstar. And you and I both know that. Now, I'm not saying Wiggins won't become a superstar. But
he's not guaranteed to be a superstar, one of the top 8 players in the league at 25 years old like we get right now.
That's what I'm saying. And, Wiggins is a big risk. It's a risk. It's not a huge risk. But, I mean, but turning down a superstar who's willing to play for you and willing to play for your team, you go and make that trade. Now, Kevin Love said basically, goes, listen, I'm not going to resign with Cleveland. I'm not here for the long haul. Then the trade wouldn't be worth it at all.
Right.
But the fact that I don't see Kevin Love dicking LeBron over, has a lot to do with it. I don't think anybody would at this point.
Well, he'd be punching himself in the face too.
Exactly.
To play alongside the biggest circus on sports. You're obviously going to get a lot bigger endorsement deals, name recognition, merchandising, shoe sale. Like, everything is going to go up just by being affiliated with the King. Scottie Pippen benefited from Jordan.
The Clippers don't have the cap space for Kevin Love. I don't see Kevin Love playing in Sacramento. The Lakers are an absolute mess. And San Diego, where Kevin Love wants to be, Portland already has LaMarcus Aldridge. And Golden State failed to pull the trigger on that deal where Love would have signed long-term. I truthfully believe Love will be in Cleveland for a long time.
And that's something we're going to have to figure out as it goes. But you were saying there's no guarantee that Andrew Wiggins is going to turn, we have no idea what's going to happen there. But I don't know if you happen to notice or if you ever were a big Simpsons fan, but FX just did a every Simpsons ever episode marathon for days and days.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Unfortunately, I was on the road every day. I don't know if it's still on, though.
I don't know. I've been watching it as much as I can. It's channel 128 over here. But I clicked on an episode. I think it's the one where Homer goes back to college, and the nuclear regulators come in and say, "Well, Mr. Burns, we have several violations here. We're going to shut you down." And Burns goes, "Oh, well, time for the bribe. Now you could either have what the lovely Smithers is showing you, the washer and dryer, or you can trade it all in for what's in the box. The box. And that's kind of what you were saying is that, do you want the washer and dryer, the guaranteed thing, or you open up the box and it's a pencil and it's like, wah, wah. I wanted the box so bad. It could have been anything in there.
Well, and that's the thing is Andrew Wiggins is the box. The thing is Wiggins could be anything. I mean, the thing is it's the same with Bennett too, but here's the deal, and this is as great of a fit as it would have been, it would have definitely hurt the Cavaliers' chance at a championship this year. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't have gotten there because I think there was still a decent chance they could have gotten to the title without Kevin Love this season in the East. Just the East being the East. The only team you would really have to go through would be the Bulls and the Wizards. And like I said, I don't think the Cavaliers would have had a huge problem with the Wizards. I really don't. So looking at them now with Kevin Love, I mean, the team looks unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm really...
Deion Waiters is your fourth offensive option.
What was he last year? He was number 2.
Yeah, he's your fourth now. And he's a year more mature. I mean, that's another difference, too.
I really hope he's the type of guy that embraces the learning role. And
I think he will. I think, here's the thing is, I wouldn't say that if Chandler Parsons was here. But since LeBron is, everybody managed to play well with LeBron. I mean, everyone does.
Yeah, he's I don't know, what would that be? I'm lacking the metaphor there, but yeah, we watched it the first go around with the Cavs. He made average players look good. He made good players look great. I mean, Mo Williams was a superstar, but no, he wasn't.
Not a superstar. He was an all-star. There's a big difference.
Okay, I'm sorry. He was an all. You're right. You're right. He was an all-star, but is he really an all-star? No, he's not really an all-star.
No.
Okay,
no, exactly.
Fair enough. You did correct me there, and I wanted to ask you about this as well because this trade going back and forth. Obviously, hurt feelings. We remember the Comic Sans font with Dan Gilbert. Really just being pissed off and just tearing into LeBron, and I liked the letter because you needed to say that for your fan base at the time. But what do you make of Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor kind of really dumping on Kevin Love after it's one of those like you get down on a knee and you propose to your girl and she declines and you're like, I didn't like her anyway. Yeah, something about her, and then you start nitpicking and figure out the things that you didn't like. Like, Glenn Taylor wanted Kevin Love, and then he turns around and starts bashing him. What do you make of that?
My belief is that, there's bitterness. I mean, we've seen it before with our owner. Seen it before with the Cavaliers. There's bitterness. Clearly there's bitterness. Kevin's a great player. He was never really surrounded with any great talent, though. If you would have put one more decent piece on that team last year in Minnesota, they would have won over 50 games.
Yeah, and they had all those 1-point losses as well. So, sure.
And they were in a really tough Western Conference. That's another thing. Kevin's a great player. I think playoff experience sometimes is very overvalued. I think it is and it isn't. I mean, Miami's first year, Chris Bosh managed to get there, and a bunch of misfits on Miami other than Wade and LeBron. And I tend to think the championship sometimes is overvalued. But, I mean, obviously, look, it took LeBron years to mature. It took LeBron, until his 9th season to win a championship.
Man, 9? How long did it take Jordan?
7.
Okay.
But don't forget, Jordan also had a couple years in college.
Oh, same age. Okay.
Okay. So I believe that Kevin Love's ready. I mean, I think you're going to see a step up from everyone. Don't forget, Kevin Love now he's going to have more open looks than ever before. He's with, Rubio's a good point guard. Kyrie Irving's a much better point guard.
Yeah.
He's got 3 other guys on the floor that are constantly going to be getting looks. And, there's going to be much less double team. I mean, don't forget, if you're going to go double team someone, Kevin Love's not the first person I'm going to double team. I'm going to put the double team on LeBron. I'm going to then put the double team on Irving or Love. One of those 2 guys is going to get a bunch of open shots, and both of them can play one-on-one. I mean, you can play any type of offense you want. You can play an up-tempo. They're going to be dominant in an up-tempo offense. They're really going to run.
Is that what LeBron wants to do as he's getting older and he's cramping up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'll be fine running.
All right.
And they can play their slow-paced game, too. I mean, put LeBron in the post. He's going to dominate. He's going to dominate anywhere. He can play any style of basketball. I'm just saying, under Dave Blatt, though, I think they're really going to crush him.
I'm so excited. So excited to see some of this stuff. Really am.
Yeah, you should see what the tickets are selling for on
man.
StubHub right now. They're not on flash seats yet, but I had heard about it yesterday, so I went to go see it for myself. There are courtside seats going for $23,000. Imagine buying all 4 of those. You could, almost $100,000. After the StubHub fees, it'd be $100,000.
$100,000. Wow. Okay.
I don't know anybody who would pay that, and if you would, you're nuts.
Well, maybe that goes to corporate, or maybe that goes to, people always out trying to schmooze and impress. Yeah, Joe Sixpack isn't going to be doing that one. I'll promise you that. Well, talk about money and exorbitant fees. Clippers, Doc Rivers, $10 million a year. What do you make of that one?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It really is. Steve Ballmer obviously has unlimited pockets, though. His negotiating, it didn't like that he had too much bargain power. And Doc Rivers goes, listen, he can say, you just paid over $2 billion for this team. You can afford to pay me $10 million.
That is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes once again. Are the NBA coaches? How important is it to have a top-notch NBA coach? Because we watched Eric Spoelstra figure it out. He had Riley to learn
from. Rivers
from.
isn't just a coach, though.
What's that?
He's also the team president. Rivers is also the team president.
Okay, so he's double dipping, and that makes it make sense then. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, Phil Jackson's getting $10 million a year. I mean, just imagine. I mean, I wonder if Dan Gilbert laid out the job to Phil Jackson at all, because if Phil had the opportunity to come to this, I think Phil would have looked like a genius.
Oh, come on! Of course, Phil would have. Calipari would have done it if he would have known. Phil Jackson would have done it if he would have known. I mean, come on, Phil Jackson. He loves being. Oh yeah, I'm the Zen master. Yep, I coached Michael Jordan.
Phil would be coaching this team if he had the choice.
Yeah, I coached Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. I'm a really good coach. I coach Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and okay. Oh, I coached LeBron James and Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. Wow, that would have been. but with all these stories being leaked, could you imagine though? Like what a resume that would have been if he would have had the chance to coach that team. But I find it hard to believe though, because if that had been offered, you figure it would have leaked out by now. I could be wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know it was offered. I don't think it was. So I'm just saying, can you imagine what it would be like if Phil would have come to the Cavs and then, him sitting there with LeBron? I mean, I think David Griffin's done a hell of a job. I mean, he's going to win Executive of the Year.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview with him. It's like, all right, are you already polishing off the space on your mantle for Executive of the Year?
Unless somehow, I'm saying unless somehow, right now the other GMs that have a potential to win it this year are Gar Forman in Chicago. And I'm going to let you know right now, if somehow they make a run, I'm highly doubtful. Pat Riley in Miami, there's another chance too, because of losing LeBron and still winning 50 games. But I see them winning in the low to mid 40s.
Okay. Do you really think the Heat are going to make a run?
No, I'm saying no. If for some reason they did, though.
All right. Well, all right.
I think Miami's a very old basketball team. They're very, very old.
Yeah, Wade got old real quick.
I mean, but who knows if Wade can stay healthy this year and play 35 minutes a night? The big thing is if he can stay healthy. He hasn't been healthy for years.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. And you know what? Maybe it will. Maybe the Cavs will meet the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, for all we know. Stranger things have happened.
And beat them in 4.
Is there a way we could beat them in 3? Is there like a mercy rule? No, we're done. We're done. Mercy, I give. Uncle. Okay, so maybe there's a chance another team gets Executive of the Year. That's fine. What do we make? By the way, Shelley Sterling's out there saying that the Clippers for $2 billion was a deal, is a bargain. Do you buy that? That's kind of ridiculously exorbitant.
No, I don't buy that.
Yeah,
the Dallas Cowboys are barely worth $2 billion.
Yeah, and look at their stadium. Jeez, that thing's incredible.
I mean, personally, basketball is not even the most popular sport in the United States. They're not even the most popular team in LA.
The Clippers are going to be more popular than the Lakers next year, though, right?
It's the Lakers. I mean, you live there. I used to live there.
But everyone loves a winner, and the Lakers are not going to be winning next year. They're just not. And I think it was smart to keep Doc Rivers around. He kind of has become the face of the franchise, the stabilizing basketball
Doc Rivers was, he's a big part of the turnaround in Boston. And, they won his first year in Boston. So Give him credit. I mean, and he took that old team to the finals a couple times. You know, he got them deep in the playoffs. I mean, don't forget, they almost upset Miami in the playoffs. You know, in LeBron's second year there, they took Miami to 7 games and almost beat them.
Yeah, real close. I don't know. We'll see if they put it together and come out of the West. It's going to be tough with all the
They
talent
can very
out
well
there.
come out of the West, but I still see the Cavs beating them.
The only team you're really saying with the Spurs, you know, talk about the Spurs again real quick, because we had that conversation last week. We were kind of comparing player to player, and our good buddy UFC is MMA in the on the YouTube channel. He was saying, man, it's stupid to compare player to player. The way Popovich rotates players in, it's
very true, though. That's what I'm saying. It's very true.
Yeah. But then I guess when the Cavs rotate players in, I mean, we have solid, serviceable, talented players being rotated in as well. I mean, I like our chances.
I do too.
I don't think we're top heavy. Really, you know, like a Barbie doll, you fall over with a, you know.
They're not top heavy. They have a very good bench, and it's a very experienced bench.
Absolutely. Whether it's Anderson Varejao or whether it's Tristan Thompson, or, I mean, go down the line. Wait, who is our starting lineup right now is who? We got Kyrie, we got LeBron, Kevin Love. Who are the other?
It's Kyrie, Waiters, LeBron, Love, and Andy.
Waiters and Andy. Just locked in stone. And then Tristan's coming in off the bench. Mike Miller,
Marion,
James
Brendan
Jones.
Haywood. My guess is they'll still wind up acquiring a rim protector sometime. It might not be right away, but you'll see it sometime soon.
Yeah, we got that one kid, Alex something. What was
Alex Kirk?
Yeah. I heard he got in trouble doing something. I don't know.
I haven't been paying attention to that, but I mean, it's definitely going to be a ride this season. I'm telling you, order your league pass. I mean, there's going to be a lot of excitement around the league. The Bulls with Derrick Rose coming back are going to be fun to watch. I think the Nets and the Knicks are both going to suck.
Oh, they're both going to suck.
I'm excited to watch a team like the Charlotte Hornets. You know, I'm kind of just curious to see what Miami's going to do down there.
Let me ask you about the Nets real quick. Let me bounce back to Brooklyn. How much of a mistake did what's his name, Pokerov or something like that?
Pokerov?
Yeah. How much of a mistake did he make trying to jump all in right off the bat and spending all that money?
It's a huge mistake.
How long does it take to dig out from that mess? How long is it going to take?
It'll take a long time. They're stuck. They're stuck with, I believe, 3 more years of Darren Williams.
Yeah. You know, I get wanting to jump in and be splashy, but you really have to be careful how you do this.
You've got Joe Johnson still under contract. I mean, the thing was, is they could have made that, they could have calculated that perfectly into getting Carmelo Anthony and getting Dwight Howard, but impatience really wrecked that team. I mean, don't forget, they traded away Derek Favors. They traded away the rights to Damian Lillard. I mean, you traded away some talented players. I mean, you could be looking at a roster right now with potentially you know, I mean, obviously you would not have Derek Favors or Damian Lillard if you had Carmelo, but you could have waited till the offseason to go and get Carmelo, conceivably. You know, you could have traded Brook Lopez for Dwight Howard. I mean, there were so many moves they didn't make. He was very impatient and just pulling triggers, waiting to win a year. No, we got to win now. And look what it got him. It got him to be a 45, 46-win basketball team.
Yeah.
Who can't sniff the Eastern Conference Finals?
So then what we got Nets and Knicks stinking. You're really interested to see what happens with the Heat, with Chris Bosh putting more weight on his shoulders.
I think is going to really suck this year are the Orlando Magic, but they're going to be fun as hell to watch. It's one of the most athletic lineups in the league.
A fun, athletic, crappy team.
Yeah, they're going to be fun. You're going to see some nights where they put up 50-something points a game because they have no one that can shoot. But they're going to be fun to watch.
What else? What else?
I really like Orlando's got a great front court though. Vucevic and Fry. I really like their front court. I think other teams that are going to be exciting to watch. I like Phoenix. I mean, I like the Wizards in the East. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Going in the West, I just cannot wait to watch the Lakers and see how badly they suck.
Yeah, it's kind of stunning that they've allowed that to happen. I think it's pretty astonishing, actually.
It's amazing if you look at 4 years. You know, if you look at 2 years ago, 2 years ago. The buzz around LA was that they've built the next super team. They've built the next 72-win.
Hey,
team.
it tricked you and me. It tricked you and I. We both thought, and I think we did a preseason show with Nash and with Howard and with Kobe and with Powell. It was just like, oh man, yeah, they're winning it.
Well,
this
who
year.
would have expected Steve Nash to tail off so so quickly, and Dwight Howard just not give a crap about playing there.
Nice save.
I mean, it was just summer that it just fell apart. It really did.
It was a train wreck. Nash didn't tail off. He crashed in, head first into a brick wall. That whole team did.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just, it was over from when it started. I mean, they started off the season really poorly. They started off 0-5.
I want to see Damian Lillard. I want to see what he does this year. I really liked watching him last year.
I like watching Portland a lot. They're fun. And Robin Lopez came to his own last year. Another team I'm going to like, just because I love Anthony Davis, I like Drew Holiday, I like some of those guys, are the New Orleans Pelicans. They're going to be fun.
Really? But how are we going to watch them with the name the Pelicans? Isn't that one of the worst names out there? I still don't know what a Knickerbocker is, but Pelicans is just...
It's their state bird. I mean, what's a Miami Heat?
All right, fine. What's a Buckeye? What's a Buckeye? It's a nut.
Yeah, and how does the Los Angeles Laker make sense? How many lakes other than the Hollywood Reservoir do you see in Los Angeles?
Hollywood. Yeah, when you hike the Hollywood sign, you can look over and see the reservoir. You're like, oh,
and my old house is right on that thing.
It's probably empty right now. We could sure use some water out here.
But that's what I'm saying, though. If the Lakers are going to suck, yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. LA, the Clippers, you know what you're getting into with them. I mean, it's going to be the same old with them.
You're not worried about Blake's injury? You're not worried about it?
No, not at all, no.
Okay.
The Oklahoma City Thunder, honestly, they're going to have one of those, another great regular season and disappoint once again in the playoffs.
Like, really? Just done deal.
They've disappointed in the playoffs. They made one finals so far. They made one finals appearance. That's it.
No, that's more than a lot of teams.
But when you've got Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka, at that point, they should have never gotten rid of James Harden. I mean, look every time a superstar is traded, other than Dwight Howard, and see how it worked out.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't, and that's why I'm saying this is why, as a Cleveland fan, you should feel good about Kevin Love. It's a guy who wants to be here. If he wants to be here, Dwight Howard is never so enthusiastic about the Lakers.
Okay, that's a very interesting. I like how you just drew that distinction there, because that's a very good point. Dwight Howard he wanted out of Orlando, and then he didn't, and then he did, but then he didn't, and then all right, Superman, bye. He never really wanted to be with the Lakers. He gave it a shot, kind of, because he was there already, but that wasn't his game plan. Yeah, he didn't want it. Kevin Love, you look at him, he's smiling, he's really happy. Really, you're going from one cold weather winter team to another cold winter weather team.
Yeah, but Cleveland's a beach in the wintertime compared to Minneapolis.
It gets cold off that lakefront, but yeah, it's not leaving to go on permanent vacation. It's leaving to win and play with the best player in the league and an astonishingly talented point guard and a very deep cast of characters to pick up the slack in between. I would be thrilled to death as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'd probably be better if I was, the owner. But, fine, the Cavs came out on this trade, but you know what? I think the Timberwolves came out on this trade. To get the haul that they did.
But it was Minnesota's fault why they had to trade him. Khan was such an idiot, and so was Glenn Taylor, that when Rubio came in the league, you chose not to lock up Love to a full max extension. He wanted to sign it. They didn't offer it to him.
Well, and there you have it.
That's the thing, is I don't feel bad for Glenn Taylor, but he's a schmuck. The guy's an idiot.
The
guy, Kevin Love's an all-star. What do? You don't sign him to an extension. You don't sign him to a max extension because you think Ricky Rubio is going to be the next star in the league. The guy goes and tears his ACL the next day.
You know what that is? That's trading it for what's in the box. What's in the box? That's what it is. I like Rubio.
It's like the Cavaliers, when they first got Wiggins, may have been a little nervous about locking up Kyrie, but at the same time, let's just say the whole LeBron thing wouldn't have played out. You're a little nervous because if Wiggins becomes the next superstar, he's got an opt-out. You can't sign him to that 5-year max.
Right.
And that's where the issue lies.
Well, other people around the league, they call Dan Gilbert a schmuck. the luckiest owner in sports, and
But he played his cards right, and you get dealt a hand. I mean, Minnesota may not have ever had a number one pick, but did they not pass on Steph Curry a few years ago twice? 2 picks in a row. Did you not pass on Steph Curry?
Yeah, to do that twice is harsh.
Did you not trade Ty Lawson for a second-round pick? I mean, imagine rather than coming out of there they could have still come out of that draft with Ricky Rubio, Steph Curry, and Tywan Lawson. You get those 3 guys, the fortunes of your team are completely it just transforms your team. That team would have been going deep, and I mean deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Ain't happening. But I think the T-Wolves are very fortunate to get the haul that they did. I think Anthony Bennett is going to do a lot better this year, obviously with the sleep apnea thing, with the surgery thing coming back.
His shot selection is still poor, and that's the biggest thing about Bennett. If he can get his shot selection on track, he's going to be a very good NBA player.
See, and if Bennett had a chance to play with LeBron, Bennett would shine. He'd have a chance to learn, these are the better shots.
I don't think LeBron would put up with that shit.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Personally.
I don't think so
and
either.
That's why he did it. LeBron didn't want it. With Bennett jacking up threes in a timely game, I think LeBron he'd be furious. It's something LeBron used to do when he was younger, but Anthony Bennett shouldn't even be mentioned in the same sentence as LeBron.
No. I don't mean mentioned in the same sense. I mean he's going to Minnesota. I don't think he's going to have a mentor
But
there.
I'm saying LeBron used to have a bad shot selection when he came in the league. He used to just jack up threes. He learned not to. Bennett's still that guy who does it. Bennett's not ready to play on a championship team yet.
So Bennett would have been like the Mario Chalmers, like always getting chewed out by LeBron?
I mean, who knows? I mean, we'll never see it. So.
Sure.
But, in other terms now, it's like Minnesota went, my question is, why are you going and trading a first-round pick now that you just acquired for Thaddeus Young for 1 year of Thaddeus Young? You're not making a championship run. You have no reason. You've got a youth movement in town with Ricky Rubio, Zach LaVine. You've got Anthony Bennett and Andrew Wiggins. Why go and trade for Thaddeus Young? I mean, sit on your picks. I mean, you got to make those picks.
I mean,
a team like Minnesota has to build through the draft. You're not going to build that team through free agency.
So there's no chance they re-sign him then?
There's a chance, but I mean, like I said, you can have a top 15 pick.
Yeah, see, I don't like that renting players for a year thing, and that was initially one of the problems I had with the Kevin Love deal.
Here's the thing. If you're a championship caliber team, you do what it takes to get to the next level. And if it means trading for a rental player and giving up the 25th or 26th pick in the draft, you go ahead and do that to make your championship run. I mean, take a look at baseball. Take a look at how many times you've seen teams go out and trade for that star pitcher at the end, of the season that goes and helps them win the title.
Right, and I'll say, how many times did the Indians, if you go back, they got Eddie Murray, they got Dave Winfield, they got Dennis Martinez. You go for like that veteran leadership, somebody that can maybe kick you over the top. I
mean, you look at the prospects you may have given up in a deal. But, okay, it doesn't matter what prospects we gave up. We won the World Series. And that's how you have to look at it in basketball, too. When you're that close, you have to go for it. In Cleveland, it's not every day you get LeBron back and you get a title. I mean, yeah, LeBron decided to come back. It's been a move in the making now for 4 years. I mean, since he went, you could always tell. It was like, I'll never forget his first game back as a Cavalier. You could always feel it that he was just, he was hurt. He was hurt, and it looked like he always wanted to return. You could tell every time he was returning to Cleveland, he was warming up more and more. The fans were warming up more and more to him. The first game, the boos were so loud every time he touched the ball. The next home game, it wasn't as bad, but it was still very bad. And it's just gradually, I was at a game last year, Cavs Heat in the friends and family section, and I'm sitting there watching the game, and, LeBron was barely getting booed. You were hearing a lot of cheers at that point. It was something that had been in the works, and, something we've been talking about for a long time. I just didn't want to bet my whole reputation on saying he was 100% coming back the whole time. But, I've been basically saying, we've been talking about potential scenarios with this team now for 3 years.
Oh, yeah. At least.
And you saw no one in the national media was willing to do that. And, I don't understand why so many people were so stunned that LeBron left Miami. I just don't get it.
Well, I just remember when the guy ran out onto the court, to give LeBron a hug. You know, the I love you, LeBron guy.
Yeah.
That was weird for me to see. I always envisioned LeBron's first game back to be everybody in the arena to I don't know, just to be silent or to
I'm going to
leave.
tell you what's going to happen is he's going to do the powder tossing. He's going to bring back the powder tossing ritual. And
when did he stop that, by the way?
I think 2 years ago he did.
I guess
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, after his first year in Miami. I know he still did his first year in Miami. And you know he's going to be bringing that back this year, and they're going to be giving out chalk and that powder opening night for that game. It's going to be crazy in there.
Man, I'm looking forward to that. You know,
I'll be there.
Something else I'm looking... Oh, you're going to be there?
I will be there.
All right. Something else I'm looking forward to, though, if we want to bounce over. Do you have any thoughts on Indians or Buckeyes or the Browns? I don't know if you watched
I was at the Browns game last night. I mean, it was much better watching that. I mean, I left at halftime, but it was still much better watching that than the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you saw, obviously, like 1 or 2 miscues by Hoyer, but he did take the team down and get that touchdown.
The only thing where he really missed was on that throw to Jordan Cameron. I'm sitting there, I'm like, ugh. I was like, oh, God. I was like this. And, you know, they went and punched it in, and they looked better. Granted, it was against the second-team Bears defense, but I don't care. You got your offense in rhythm. You know, you got to go and you got to punch Pittsburgh in their throats to start that game out. You cannot let them go and put 14 points on you right away and be in catch-up mode all game. It's going to be terrible. So, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to score and score quickly in Pittsburgh in order to beat them.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what to make of the Browns' defense. You know, you're looking
like
at
said,
Gilbert.
Here's the Browns' defense. I'm not worried one bit about the Browns' defense. Don't forget, you're not showing in the preseason. Brandon Weeden looked like a star last year.
And Colt McCoy did the year before. Yeah, right.
Teams do not show all their packages in the preseason. Very few of them. You're not blitzing. You're not sending your corners on blitzes, your safeties on blitzes. It doesn't happen in the preseason. This is a team that probably will be leading the league in sacks this year. I'm not worried about it one bit.
At all.
You're not going to see Leon McFadden starting at corner in the first few games of the season. You're going to see Joe Hayden out there. Justin Gilbert worries me a little bit, but if he slides opposite of, you know, Hayden, or, you know, you get Buster Screen back, I think that helps a lot.
Okay, so you're not worried. I guess, you know, I played defense, and
I'm worried about the offense, though.
Yeah, we probably should be at this point, right?
You know, the thing is, sitting there and, you know, being a Cleveland fan, I'm sitting there going, Josh Gordon's punishment was unfair, I'm thinking to myself. And then I'm thinking, you know what? No, it wasn't. This is something, you know, the Ray Rice punishment was unfair, the 2 games, but that has now changed. And
well, for future incidents,
I'm saying for the future, but I'm saying what Ray Rice got, it wasn't severe enough. But Josh Gordon knowingly broke the rules multiple times. You know there's a rule in place. It is not that hard, you know, to stop smoking weed. It really isn't. Someone says to you, they go, listen, you know, hold millions of dollars in front of your face, don't smoke. Oh, okay. You know, I wouldn't be trying to get around it.
Yeah, that.
I mean, I really think. I mean, this is not a guy. This isn't a first time. You know, this is a 3rd or 4th time. I mean, this happened. This guy was at Baylor, got kicked out of Utah, came in the supplemental draft. Okay, was already in the program with the Browns. He got suspended for the first 2 games last year, and now he got a full year this year. I mean, he has a problem, and he got a DUI while he was you know waiting for his appeal. I mean, this isn't a guy who's just innocent.
I'll give you that because I don't think any athlete should ever get a DUI. There's absolutely no reason you should be driving if you intend on having one beverage.
You can say doing one thing one time is a mistake, but these are not mistakes. These are just bad choices. He needs a proper influence and doesn't have one, obviously, because if he did, he wouldn't be making such bad choices.
I know, and the NFL is considering changing their what is that? 0.14 to 0.16. If one sample from Josh Gordon was flip-flop from the other,
it doesn't matter. He still broke the rule.
No. But what they're saying is that they're going to bump that up maybe to 0.50 or something like that. It's like way higher, so that any air quote secondhand smoke that it wouldn't come
But you know
up
what?
again.
If someone's doing it in front of you, you should have walked out of the room. I can tell you, being at a club, you're not going to get secondhand smoke, inhalation and be high. But from sitting in a car where people are doing it, yeah, you might. From sitting in a living or a small little apartment living room, yeah, you might. I mean, he made some very, very bad choices, and he has to sit there and live with them. It's almost working in favor for him because people are feeling sorry for him. He doesn't deserve any sympathy. He really doesn't.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid what he did, obviously, and I totally get that. I actually called the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell. I called his office. I put his number out there, and I encouraged other people to call and leave a number as well, or leave a message as well. The NFL is now saying it would be 6 games if you're proven to have committed an act of domestic abuse or violence, and then second time it's a lifelong suspension, a permanent ban. You could apply for reinstatement after a year. That's great as Ray Rice gets to play us. That's great as Josh Gordon doesn't get to play this season. It is frustrating, but as a Browns fan, we've kind of come to expect things like that are just going to happen. And you're right, Josh Gordon.
Exactly.
He didn't do himself any favors. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Like the kid just can't get his crap together. On the flip side, it's not like he's taking steroids. It's not like he's taking performance-enhancing drugs. These aren't PEDs. These are things that actually damage your lungs and make you run slower, theoretically. I don't see what the big deal about that is. Oh, it's an example to the kids. Come on. It's a billion-dollar industry. It's entertainment. It's competition. It doesn't help your performance. It hinders your performance, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, the kid has to live with his decisions, and he made some really, really bad ones. And they're his and his only to live with.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland Browns, too. And it's not the Browns' fault what happened to him. But, if and when he does ever come back in this league, the Browns literally need to hire a babysitter for him.
Why didn't they do that in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't want it. Now maybe he'll take it. I don't know. But, if I were them, I'd go and hire a middle school girl to go and babysit Josh Gordon for $4 an hour.
Hold on. No. No, we don't need other accusations happening.
I was joking.
I know, I'm kidding. I know, I'm kidding. Hey, I'm being sarcastic, too.
Put the guy in daycare with a bunch of 3-year-olds.
Once again, now we're Jerry Sandusky. No, I know. I don't know why they didn't have a live-in nanny like a Mrs. Doubtfire move in with him to begin with. It's like, buddy, we want to pay you a few $1 million. Do you want to take it? Well, guess what? Somebody's here, and we're putting weed sensors in your bathroom, and you're not doing it.
Dez Bryant was a total disturber when he came into the league. You don't hear a peep out of him anymore in a negative sense, ever.
How did that happen?
Dallas gave him a babysitter. He doesn't make bad choices anymore.
Wait, are we guessing on that, or do we know that they did?
No, we know that they did. You
Okay.
cannot give these kids the opportunity to screw up. Most of the time they're going to prove you right and do it. So you need to sit there and say, okay, prove me wrong. We're going to get you a babysitter. We're not even going to tempt you to make bad choices. Tonight you want to go out to the club and go smoke with your friends? Not happening. You're going to stay home. We'll get you a girl over. You're still going to get laid. There you go. There's no reason for you to go out and do something stupid. It's opportunity costs. There are choices you make in life, and there are opportunity costs in every situation. You want to go do one thing that's going to affect another. And what Josh Gordon did all this time, maybe his suspension would have been, it wouldn't have been as severe if he wouldn't have gotten that DUI. I think you're just proving to the arbitrator at that point going, listen, this guy's not mature. He hasn't matured at all.
Yeah, I mean, the DUI is the thing that I can't defend any of that stuff.
Exactly. That's where I'm going at. You can't sit there and defend it. I'm not sitting here. Not only did the guy put his life at risk, he put someone else's life at risk, and more importantly. And, what if he would have gone out and hit a pole and killed someone? What if he gone out and hit another car and killed someone that night? This is exactly why he does not deserve to be playing in the league this year. Just because I know the Ray Rice suspension has a lot to do with it, but it actually has nothing to do with it. These are the rules agreed upon by the NFLPA. The NFLPA, DeMaurice Smith, put these rules in place with the NFLPA. This is why they're there, and they are in writing that when you do this, you are suspended for an entire year, an entire calendar year. Yeah, I don't know why his appeal took so long. I think it's ridiculous. but he broke the rules.
Yeah.
He has to pay the consequences. He knowingly broke the rules and knew what they were.
That he did. And now,
as much as I love the Browns, I can't sit here and defend this because I'm looking at it from the angle of how everybody else should be looking at it. Yeah, you can take the Ray Rice thing. I mean, Josh Gordon could have beaten 7 women and gotten a lesser suspension than if he smoked weed or even got secondhand smoke. Think about that. But at the same time, this was a rule that was written in. It was written. It was in a contract. It was written. He knew what it was.
I know, but they can tweak their CBA. It's a private club.
Yeah, they can, but they didn't, and he knowingly broke the rules. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is that he just broke the rules. He did what he did, and he has to live with it. I mean, I don't have any sympathy for the guy. I really don't. He's cocky and he's arrogant. The guy's had 50 tickets in the last 2 years. I don't even know the guy has a driver's license. He puts his car out there with the camouflage. He puts the camouflage Porsche. I mean, you're asking to get caught.
You're not coming back from soccer practice with that thing.
Exactly. Everybody knows when you see that car, it's Josh Gordon and no one else.
Yeah. I watched the Browns game yesterday, and watching Santonio Holmes make all those plays, it's like, wow, that sure wouldn't have helped the Browns out this year.
No, it would have. It would have helped out the Browns, but they made their decisions. They made their, like I said, they're a quarterback and a couple of wide receivers away from being a really, really, really good football team.
Yep.
And let's see how they do this year. Next year, you add Josh Gordon back into the fold. Hopefully, he doesn't screw up. Hopefully, he's back next year. Hopefully, Johnny Manziel's the real deal, or Brian Hoyer's the real deal. And then you have 2 first-round picks next year, and you got a ton of money in free agency. Go out and sign that Eric Decker type from last year who they should have signed. Go out and go out and get Amari Cooper from Alabama. Get your wide receiver. Take 2 if you have to. Get those guys. You're a team with very few holes, but basically 2 of the 3 most important positions in football you don't have. Right now, I mean, you have your quarterback of the future in Johnny, I hope. I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying I hope. And there's, last night he flashed some really good plays. I mean, he had a touchdown that first play with Gary Barnes when he dropped it. I mean, he was 10 yards ahead of the defender.
Yeah, the Browns have had some really stupid drops so far. We've already seen that.
Well, I mean, we've been experiencing that for 15 years now? Get used to it.
When you put it that way.
So, I mean, it's frustrating. I was literally about to pull my hair out at the game. Ugh. And by the way, I have to say, I was in New York last week, so I gave away my ticket. And last night I went, and I have to say, boy, those end zones and those new scoreboards are sharp compared to the old ones.
Yeah, people are loving them. At first, I was like, why are they? I
can't wait to see that stadium next year when it's finished.
I thought, why? What else are they going to add? Because I was thinking, like, why are they doing this? It's a new stadium. Why are they upgrading? They're redoing.
Okay, one is a piece of crap. I hated Brown Stadium. I've always hated it since they built it. The sound system was terrible. The sound system apparently week 1 in the preseason was terrible. Last night it was much better. The end zones just looked phenomenal, though. I mean, they looked great. They blew me away.
What about them looks great? The end zones. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying there's all these new food options. I mean, the food options are incredible down there. They've got everything. You've got a B spot now. You've got Rocco Whalen. You've got everything. And they're going to be doing that in the main concourse next year, and they're going to be redoing the club level. So there's a lot of excitement going on right now. I mean, it looks like next year it's going to look like a completely different stadium next year.
And do you like the decision then to go with Hoyer, just because he's a little bit more mature?
I'm the one.
Experienced.
I was a proponent for going with Hoyer from the start because, like I said, if Manziel gets up, if Manziel gets frustrated right away and it's a bad situation, you got to stick with him basically all year if he's your quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
Let Hoyer screw this. Let Hoyer try to do well. If he screws it up, then you go with Johnny. But you've got a tough schedule the first 3 weeks of that season. There's no reason to throw a kid in against the Steelers, the Saints, and the Ravens in the first 3 weeks.
Manziel is a hell. Something I didn't really. I mean, I've
He is
seen some of the
fast.
flashy plays. I've seen some of like the highlight reel stuff, obviously, but I didn't watch every game with Manziel in college. But holy crap, when he's bouncing around in the pocket, and then he goes forward, then he goes sideways, then he goes backward, then he dodges somebody, then he runs around the corner. Like I've seen plays like this on his highlight reel, and he's doing it in the NFL. I saw him get sacked once or twice. I saw him lose the ball once or twice. He threw up a couple of ducks, horrible passes.
He's but the thing is, he's a rookie.
Of
But
course,
the
of course.
potential's there. I mean, the kid's got a cannon for an arm.
And
Gary
he
Barnes
is
right on the number.
fast, just like you said. I am surprised at what a running threat. I'd rather have him back there than RG3.
He was like a bullet last night. I saw him going. I mean, that's the thing.
It was incredible.
The thing is, they finally utilized his strengths last night, and I think this has been the point all season, preseason long, which they haven't been able to do. And they were, like I said, they were able to utilize his strengths and design rollouts because it gives him that option to go find the open receiver or go and take off.
I loved it. He was just shot out of a cannon. And you know what he's good at? He gets out of bounds when he needs to, and he slides like a champ. He's not doing that Brian Hoyer / RG3, I'm going to slide. Oh, nope, I'm going to get caught on the turf and blow my knee out. It was, okay, I can get as many yards as I can. I see this guy, I see that guy, now I'm going down. Like, he had it, and he was fast, and he was like an extra running back in the backfield. I was really impressed with that.
He really was. I was very impressed with Johnny, what he did. And I'm looking at this team now, and I'm saying, okay, they're still, obviously still their whole quarterback. This offense is going to be a complete enigma. I don't know what to expect next Sunday when sitting in front of my couch watching that game. I really couldn't tell you. But, all I can tell you is last year I flew in for the opener against the Dolphins, and boy, was I disappointed. I was expecting big things out of Trent. I was expecting better numbers out of Whedon. And it was the same old crappy Trent Richardson and the same old crappy Brandon Whedon. And an offense that they were up at halftime, it's 6-3 or whatever, and lost the game 20-6 or whatever. And, they just sucked. And it was so typical of the Browns.
we invent ways to lose.
And then against the Ravens, they pulled the same thing, and he looked terrible again. And it was like, oh, God, we got this again. Brandon Whedon is just not an NFL quarterback. Yeah, maybe throw him in Dallas. Maybe he'll have a little bit of success. He's not an NFL quarterback, though. He's a backup. He's one of those guys. Whedon's one of those guys that can come in and light up the game as a backup because he does have that powerful arm. He really does. But he's not a guy who can consistently start. He does not handle pressure well.
Hey, I mean, he's an older guy, but he hasn't been in the league very long. Maybe he could.
He's 30. He's got his AARP.
I know he's an old.
He's older than you.
Oh, now that hurts. Now that's low.
He's like 32 or 30. He's already like 32.
Hold on. How old are you?
26.
Huh.
I'm a youngster.
Yeah, you don't even remember Bernie Kosar. You just remember him from the post-concussion Bernie Kosar, don't you?
Post-concussion Bernie Kosar.
Well, his slur in his speech, and they dropped him from the broadcast, and it's kind of sad. And he's come out. He's discussed all the concussions that he had back in the 80s.
I actually do. I've always liked Bernie.
He's a likable guy, and he scammed the system to make sure that the Browns drafted him, being from Youngstown and all, which was really rad.
He's also one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. One of the most down-to-earth, nicest guys you will ever meet.
And I can't say I've had the pleasure yet, but back in the day, what was it, 85? No, what would it be, 87, 88, maybe 89? I remember I was really big into art, and I got this really big, I don't know, I think I had a spindle of construction, but not construction paper. What the hell do you call that stuff? It's on the big wheel, and you pull it off, and you cut off this big piece. And I drew from like one of my playing cards a life-size picture of Bernie Kosar that was hanging on my wall as I rooted for them back in the day. No, I look forward to meeting Bernie when I get the opportunity for sure. But no, I mean, okay, fine. Whedon's old, but the Cowboys picked him up. He might do something. Terrell Pryor, he's picked up by the Seattle.
I don't know if Pryor's really going to do much, but like I can tell you, Whedon's one of those guys who deserves to be on an NFL roster as a backup. Whether it's second or third string.
Hey, Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman came in and played decent.
Whedon just wasn't. You had to get Whedon out of there as being the Browns. He was not. The fans hated him. I mean, the guy's been miserable here for the last 2 years. I mean, it's clear. and he needed to go.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. I don't think they made the wrong choice by getting rid of him. But he's not a starter anywhere. I mean, he was like probably the 37th or 38th best quarterback in the NFL.
Out of how many teams? Yeah.
32.
Yeah, the odds
That's
are
the
not
thing.
very
That's
good
what I'm
there.
saying. He's not a starter.
Well, and he's not anymore. You know, I got into fights last year. I'd be tearing into Brandon Weeden. It's like, well, he's an NFL quarterback. Not for long.
He's
Not
an
for
NFL
long.
backup.
Yeah, he's a starting quarterback. Not for long. Not for long. No, I like it. I think Johnny Manziel being chaotic back there is a good thing because he makes so much happen. Running to his left, throwing across his body to the right. He makes weird throws and he's erratic and he's young and he's figuring some stuff out. But what I don't want to see happen to Johnny Manziel is I don't want him to be unaware of his reads and get confused and run too quick and get popped and get a concussion like Colt McCoy or something stupid. So
Well,
I'm okay with him
Johnny's a
sitting
better
on the bench for
football
now.
player than Colt McCoy. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Colt's a teeny guy, though. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit taller than Manziel, but Manziel's physically just a bigger guy. Manziel's got a much better arm, too. I mean, Colt did not have a good arm.
Well, we didn't see much of Manziel's. We saw a couple of nice plays, but his percentage was low, and we saw a bunch of ducks. But hell, you know what? All the practice games are done, and we get into the real stuff next week. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'll tell you what, we're about out of time here for today, Zach. I appreciate you joining us, wrapping up the Kevin Love details, talking a little bit of Browns. And, we will stay in touch as the World Cup continues. Kyrie getting a starting spot, and it's very exciting. And it's always a pleasure having you on the program, buddy, okay?
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
All right, you have a good one. We'll be talking again soon. My name's Brian Engelman. You've been listening to The Unhappy Hour here on thenewamericanmedia.com. We're going to play you a little bit of music, and we'll be right back on the other side. We're going to bring in special guest John B. Wells, formerly of Coast to Coast AM, now of Caravan to Midnight. We're going to talk about Russia, ISIS, terror threats, World War III, the Illuminati. What else do you want to talk about? I don't know. It's all going to be happening on the other side. Talk to you in a few.